Alright, so I have this 2018 Toyota Highlander that I just recently purchased a couple of months ago. And I love everything about this car. The way it handles, it's a very comfortable vehicle. And I have long drives to work. I drive over 30 miles each way. So I'm enjoying this car, except for one thing. The radio. The stereo. It's just not intuitive at all. It does have Bluetooth, but when I connect my phone via Bluetooth and I listen to a lot of audiobooks, it's constantly skipping and it just doesn't do it. And most importantly, the biggest issue that I have with it is it doesn't support CarPlay or Auto Android. So I actually even called Toyota to see if they could upgrade this unit. And apparently up until I think 2020, Toyota did not offer CarPlay for these models. And apparently there's nothing they could do for it, they told me. So 2020 and up, they began to give Android, Auto Android, and CarPlay as an option. So as a result, then I started to look on the internet to see what I could get for it, an aftermarket unit with those options, CarPlay. So I purchased recently a double DIN unit. I think it was an 8-inch, which is pretty much, I think this one is also an 8-inch. And then I have to get the double DIN kit that goes around it. I got it. I began to install it. And as always, those kits are never ideal. They never work quite right for the stereo that you purchase aftermarkets. And but anyway, I proceeded. I would have had to cut a little bit around the kit to make it fit in there. So I proceeded with it. But then when I was done splicing and connecting all the wires, then I realized that the steering wheel controls did not work with the unit, nor did the reverse camera, the backup camera. And those are two options that I really like. So I kind of gave up, returned the stereo, returned the dash kit, and I kind of gave up for a couple of weeks. Until just recently, a couple of days ago, I was browsing through, and I came across this unit, which I had seen previously. I'll show you in a second. But I kind of bypassed it because it's not cheap. It's over $500. And because of the price, I had bypassed it. But now, after I went through what I went through, I said, all right, it's time to take it to the next level. And what convinced me the most to go with this unit as far as pricing is, I reminded myself, I said, wait a minute, I was willing to go to Toyota, through Toyota, and have them install something. And then I kind of thought about it, and I wasn't going to leave Toyota dealership under $700, $800 if they were going to do something. So I said, so why not bite the bullet here and go with this unit? So now I'm going to show you the unit. This is the box for the unit. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it, but it's Sygav. And what this company apparently does is makes units for vehicles like this, but specific to the vehicles. Because I went to their website, and this particular unit, obviously, that I purchased is a Toyota Highlander one for my vehicle. But as I was browsing on their website, they apparently make these radios for vehicles like this, for multiple other makes and models that pretty much it's a plug-and-play fit. And, I mean, it doesn't get any easier. So that's the box, that's the name of it. And I'm just going to zoom in here on the model number in case you're interested, so you can look it up. And it says 2015, but if you're a Toyota fan, you'll know that these models, I think, came out in 2014 and ran all the way through 2018, this specific model, before they made some changes to the next generation. So this will work pretty much with all those years that I just mentioned. So that's the box, and now I'll show you the unit itself. Obviously, I've taken it out already, and we'll jump to the stereo unit. And this thing, it's massive. Right there. This is the unit. Obviously, I'm going to show you the entire process, how to disconnect this in a minute, the factory one, and how we're going to install this. And everything is plug and play. This thing is 10.1 inches, I believe, but my God, it feels like it's even bigger. The best thing about this, what I like, is that there is no need for another dash kit to install it. So what this does basically is you take this radio out, the factory one, And this particular unit will fill the entire space from this line all the way here, and that's the entire unit itself. Now, the other features that I like about this is, like I said, it's plug and play, and it comes with everything here that you see. So there's no splicing. This is exactly what you have in the back of the unit, and you just plug and play in here. Obviously, not everything is you're gonna have to plug and play. Some things might be left out because depending on your features that you have with your vehicle. The other thing I like is it comes with a GPS and it comes with a microphone. Now, there is a built-in microphone in here already. I could see it. So I guess they're trying to, I don't know, increase the quality. So they've given you an internal microphone, which I plan to install and kind of like place it somewhere right here near the steering wheel so people could hear me clearly. In the back, pretty much is straightforward. There's not much to it. Again, the back is the same way, plug and play. And the good thing about it is you can't go wrong because each one of these plugs in the back, they only fit on the right one. And you can go wrong, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to start the process right now of taking this unit apart, the factory one. And once I install the other one, I'm not going to say it's a full review, but I'll just run through the options that it comes with quickly because it is very rich in options. By the way, it runs on Android. It's on an Android platform. I think it's a 10.0. I'll look it up by the end of the video and I'll confirm that. It also has nicely, which I've never seen before, it has an HDMI port in the back. So it's very rich in options. So let's get started. Alright, in order to remove this factory unit, we got to remove this center piece here with the climate controls. And I usually do this job with a tool like this, a plastic prying tool. And I find it much easier in this vehicle to start all the way at the end over here on this corner and just pull it out. So let's begin. So now once you've done that, there's two connectors here. You got to disconnect those two connections. Very easy. You press on the tab and it just unplugs. There you go. 1, 2. I'll put this aside. Just make sure you don't confuse these, even though it's hard to confuse. These are the two black ones that work with the climate control. These are on the bottom. In order to remove the factory unit, we're going to have to pry this brown piece, in my case here, a little bit out to take out these two vents. Some people take it out all the way. I find it unnecessary to do that. All you need is some space in order to clear out the way for the vent to come out. So these are just basically, you pull the snap-ons. You pull it out. That's the vent. We'll do the same thing with the other side. There you go. Now these units have, the only thing that's holding this thing in place is 4 screws. There's one right there. There's one on the bottom, 3, and another one on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Now all you got to do is just pull out. Now you're going to see in the back here there's a bunch of connectors and they're all pretty straightforward. You basically push on any of the tabs and you pull out. So these are all the connectors that we need to connect to the new unit, and just like you can see, they're pretty much plug and play. You can't go wrong because they're all different sizes, and you're only going to be able to fit the right ones in there. Alright, so here we are. Plug and play. We'll begin the process. There's one more, right? Again, just keep trying whichever fits on whichever. That's it. Alright, so on this one, the gray one, this is what makes all the USB ports from the factory down here work. So in order for them to work with the new unit that I just purchased, you're going to need to take these two cords that came with the kit. And basically what you do is take the gray one, plug it in here. Then the USB end male is going to attach to the female. And this will attach to the radio. I'll show you in a second. Now we're going to begin attaching all of these to the radio. So before I start actually connecting the unit itself, we're going to have to, well, this is optional, to connect GPS and the microphone. Basically what I'm going to do is pick the locations that I prefer. Obviously, everybody could decide on their own. Most of the people like to put these things around on top of the windshield, whatever the case. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the GPS right here. There's a flat surface. And push the wires in the back. And I'm going to place the microphone right here. And again, push the wires in the back. So let's get started. Now let's get started with that. So previously, in the factory one, we had all these connectors going in the back. Good thing about this is pretty much all those connectors have only one connector in the back, and that goes right back here. Can't miss it on the black portion of the connector. One thing I failed to mention before, this is a Wi-Fi antenna. It was in the box. Again, optional, but I'm going to throw it in there. And it helps you connect to Wi-Fi. We're going to connect the stereo antenna here, the GPS here, and the microphone right here. So let's begin that process. Looking for the antenna. Here's the regular stereo antenna. Gets plugged in. GPS. It's a screw on. Get that in there nicely. And the microphone. There's one more thing left to do. And now I have to connect the USB. That's the USB. The only thing left right now is, remember I have a reverse camera, and for those that have a reverse backup camera, we gotta connect another adapter, and I'll show you that right now. Alright, in order to connect the rear view camera, backup camera, take this connector, the one with the brown tip right here, and connect in the back. Look for the one that it fits on. Again, can't go wrong. They all work. You only plug these things in the right connector. And now you're going to look for the yellow connector. However, though, you got to pick the one that's connected to this harness, the one that's plugged in. One is connected to the harness that I'm not using. There's no need for it. And one is connected to the harness that I'm using. Right here. And in my case, it's this one. So you pick that up and you basically tie it to this one right here. Same thing here. You got two yellow ones. You got to find the one that says cam. One says auxiliary, not under auxiliary. Put that aside, tie it into the camera. The only thing I'm left with is this one, and it doesn't need to be connected in my case. And as far as from the factory setup, there's only one of these that's left out, and that's fine. So I'm just going to do a temporary install, push all the wires in the back, and get this going just to see, make sure that everything's working correctly. And also give you an idea. This thing I think is beautiful. So let me start pushing the wires back. Alright, now I'm on the other side of the car. Let me get the car started. There you go. Android 10. That's another nice touch. That it comes up with the Toyota logo. Look at that. It even shows you when the doors are open, unlocked. Open, I'm sorry, not unlocked. And this is the interface right there. So before I start to wrap this up, one thing I want to point out that I should have mentioned at the top of the conversation. You got to remove these two yellow clips from the factory tabs. They're on the bottom tabs. There's two of them. You got to remove them and place them on the same locations in the new stereo on the bottom two tabs. This is basically what locks the stereo in there and prevents it from moving in. So I'm just going to pull it out quickly, slide these into the tabs, common sense, slide them in, and then push the radio back in. That's it.